The new best deck is here. Wait a second. Ah, there it is. Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at Ritual Slop, aka Megalith Mitsurugi, aka a whole bunch of cards that work really well together because of rituals. Yay. Here's the thing. Ritual summoning is my favorite summoning mechanic. It's not even close. It's so cool, and I really enjoy it. So, when I have the ability to play a whole bunch of ritual decks put together, I'm gonna do that. So, let's take a look at this deck list. First and foremost, we're playing the Mitsurugi cards. I know, but here's the thing. They facilitate this strategy really well, and they allow me to play my other archetype that I really enjoy, and is one of my favorites, Megalith. So, as much as I enjoy Mitsurugi, but I'm also sick of it, it is just really helpful for this specific strategy. We're playing a fairly large package of it due to the fact that we are playing just rituals, right? It's entirely centered around ritual summoning. So we are playing the 3 Habakiri as well as the 1-apiece of Murakuma and Futsu. We're also playing a 1-apiece of the Kusanagi as well as the Saji. And then we have ourselves a few rituals as well. 2 of the original ritual and then the 1 mirror. We're also playing 3 prayers and 1 great purification. And that's it for the Mitsurugi stuff. As for the Megalith stuff, we have quite a few. If you don't know, Megalith utilizes its monsters as the spells. So every single one of the monsters has a way to ritual summon. The low levels utilize themselves as the material on field, whereas the high levels discard themselves in order to ritual summon. So we have Ophiel and Haggath, which both search cards once per turn. Ophiel searches monsters, Haggath searches spell traps, and then both have that ability to ritual summon utilizing themselves on field. We're playing 2 apiece of those because we want to cycle them multiple times to get those additional searches, which is fairly easy, all things considered. That being said, the ritual summon is a once per turn, so keep that in mind. As for the big monsters, we're playing 1 apiece of Phaleg, 1 Phaleg, 2 Bethor, which is our boss monster as well. It's a nuke on the opponent's turn, because on summon, it targets cards the opponent controls up to the number of ritual monsters with different names in the grave and destroys them. So if you put additional names into the grave, it destroys more cards. It's very powerful. Phaleg just boosts your field attack and defense for each ritual in the grave. And then Aerodron has the ability to quick effect ritual summon from by sending itself from hand. It also protects with targeting. If your opponent targets, you can shuffle back a guy. It's okay. But for the most part, it's used for that quick effect fusion or ritual summon. We're also playing a 1 apiece of Full and Fullock, as well as Plura, all of which are part of the end board, or at least can be part of the end board. Full is probably the most important one due to the fact that it is a quick effect ritual summon from deck, which means that you have the ability, actually from hand or deck, I should say, which means that you have the ability to summon something like Bethor from the deck to immediately pop the board, which is very useful. On top of that, it on ritual summon adds back a monster to your hand, which is very nice as well. That can be used later for ritual fodder. We also have Fullock, which does a similar thing on ritual summon, adds back a Megalith card from grave to hand. So notably, this doesn't actually grab just monsters. You can add back something like an Unformed, which we'll talk about later, a Portal, an Emergence, or any of the ritual monsters as well. But then on top of that, you also have the ability to quick effect summon from grave one of your monsters utilizing this card on field, which is very nice. So you can even do that with the Bethor again. Now, notably, Bethor's effect is a once per turn, but say, for example, you tributed it off with some of the previous effects, and then you just bring it back and boom, nuke the field. Then we have Plura, which is a crazy card. You reveal it, and then your opponent cannot activate cards in response to your Megalith ritual monsters, which means you can chain block. So if, for example, I activate Anastasis, which we'll talk about as well, you can just reveal the Plura and then be like, if you ritual summon a guy, you can activate the effect of your Anastasis and then chain block it with one of your Megaliths, which is very useful. However, on top of that, it is an Omni Negate on field, which is very useful. You just negate a card, destroy that card, and then if you also negated if you negated a card that targeted, you contribute a monster your opponent controls, which is pretty powerful. Anyway, moving on, we are also playing a 3 apiece of Unformed ritual summons from deck by attributing double the cost. And then we also have ourselves 1 apiece of Portal, which adds back a guy from the grave, and Emergence, which reborns a guy from the grave. Now, notably, because of the way that because of the fact that Megaliths are rituals, you do have to properly have summoned the ritual in order for you to activate the emergence. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, you can special summon back a Megalith, and then it's back on the field, which is very nice. And then we're also playing one piece of Anastasis. Now, to be fair, this should be a 60-card deck, and you should be playing 3 of this, and you should be playing 1 additional Miracle Raven. But I'm poor, so I don't have them. And to be fair, it works nonetheless. That being said, Anastasis is incredible. You discard a card to add a low-level and a high-level Megalith, and on summon of a Megalith monster, on ritual summon of a Megalith monster, you get to either draw 2 and discard 1, or tribute a monster your opponent controls. Non-target. Very powerful. All in all, very solid effect. Very solid card. And then that's pretty much it for the Megaliths. As for the rest of the cards, we are playing a small Nouvelles package for the Diviner. We're also playing a small Illusion package with Magician Souls to draw us additional cards so that we can get into more of our engine, or more specifically, find these specific cards. We're looking for Prayer, Purification, Emergence. Those are the 3 cards we want to set at the end of the turn. So if we can find those, that's very great. On top of that, we also are playing, of course, a bunch of normal summons in the Diviner, as well as Gale Dogra, which facilitate a myriad of different things. Gale Dogra sends cards from the extra deck to the graveyard. You can send up to 2, unless you have a way of gaining life points. We don't necessarily here, but say your opponent gives you life points via a myriad of different effects. You can send as many. You just pay 3k to then send a card. Notably, we are sending Herald of Arclight. Yeah, it's pretty strong. You would originally be able to send multiple because it's not a once per turn, but this card's limited now due to Yummy. So, awesome. But alas, that being said, the Diviner of Herald still works as well and allows us to go into the Baron, a 4 and a 6 off of the Herald send. Gets you Baron, which is pretty strong. The rest of the extra deck is pretty simple. We're just playing the additional targets for the send cost, or for the send effect, I should say, of our monsters. We're also playing the Baron, as previously mentioned. We're playing 2 4s and King of the Feral Imp to grab in, or to go into the Mitsu stuff, and then the Gallant Granite to get into the Megalith stuff. Then we're also playing a Zombie Vampire in order to mill and potentially see some of these guys in particular. We're also playing the Typhon. As for links, we're playing a whole bunch of them. IP, SP, 2 Dynamondo. We're also playing the Cross Sheep, which draws us cards over the course of the turn, as well as the Sprite Elf. And then we're also playing 1 Aslan. This card's crazy. Mostly it's used for the reveal a ritual to add a different ritual of a different type and attribute from your deck to your hand, which is very nice. So you can reveal a Mitsurugi to add a Megalith, or reveal a Megalith to add a Mitsurugi, or vice versa. Very, very useful. Obviously, we have a whole bunch of different types of ritual monsters, so pretty solid there. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. All right, so here we are going first, and this duel is basically going to just showcase what this deck is capable of doing, pretty much uninterrupted. So we're going to start off here with the Anastasis that we did end up drawing. We're going to discard a card. We're going to discard and keep the Phalanx so that we still have the ability to go for the Unformed. And we're going to grab Plura and the Ophiel. Here we're going to then activate the Plura, and now we can go for the Ophiel, or for the Unformed. Here's the thing. If they were to have interacted with the Unformed, we could have just summoned the Ophiel there by tributing the Plura. So that's why I do this way. At this point, my opponent can't interact, except for the fact that I chain block incorrectly. If I'd done this the correct way, they wouldn't have been able to interact. It's fine. I was still learning the deck at this point. We're going to go and draw 2. We hit Mirror. Funny. We're going to pitch it. And then we're going to add to our hand the Portal. We're going to activate Portal here and activate its effect, or sorry, activate the Haggith effect to summon the Ophiel. Ophiel effect is going to activate as well as the Portal. I do chain block it this time. So we're going to grab up full, and we're going to add back the Phalanx. Phalanx is going to come back a whole bunch of times. Here we're going to go for the full off of the Ophiel effect. We're going to activate that effect in order to add back the Haggith this time. Now we go for the full, tribute off the Haggith, and then go for a full lock. Full lock is going to add back another guy, which is the Unformed. Unformed is also not a once per turn. A lot of the Megalith stuff is not hard once per turns, so you can use it over and over and over again. So there's that. Here we can go and reborn the Haggith to grab up the Emergence here, and now we can go for a rank 4. King of the Feral Imps. Here we go. Activate its effect in order to pitch a card to grab up the Habakiri. Habakiri is going to activate its effect to grab the Saji. Saji is going to grab Ritual. I have 10 million cards in my hand. We're going to activate the Ritual. We're going to pitch the Futsu. We're going to go for the Habakiri. We're going to activate the effect of the Futsu in order to grab up the Prayers. We're then going to activate our Nouvelles, which summons itself and adds the Ritual Raven. From here, we can use the Ritual Raven, tributing off the Habakiri in order to special summon itself. From this position, the Habakiri is going to trigger alongside the mirror, and I'm just going to add back that mirror immediately, because we're going to then use the Phaleg. Just kidding, I lied to you. We're going for the Phaleg. We go for the Plura, so that my opponent cannot activate any, or that I have the ability to negate here. Here, we're going to link off into the Cross Sheep here. I said here way too many times. We're going to go for the souls now off of the illusion, which we search off of the Miracle Raven. Now we can go for the souls in order to draw to discard 2 off of the sheep, which we discarded the unformed and the Aerotron. And then we're going to go for the mirror. Mirror back the Futsu, and just send that guy to the graveyard. Here we're going to send the portal as well as the dead pre-prep in order to draw 2 off of the soul. Now we can go for the Sprite Elf. I haven't used my normal. We're going to normal summon the Diviner in order to send the Herald to grab up another Ritual. Ritual effect is going to activate it in order to summon the Murakumo from the deck, and then go for the Prayer to tribute off the Murakumo to grab another guy, but more specifically to bring back the Saji so that I have the level 4, and Murakumo is going to search out Purification and bring itself back. Here we can make it the Baron, and then we can activate the effect of Elf, bringing back Full, because Full is a level 2. It's targeted, protected, we set 3, and we pass the turn, and guess what? I have Maxi in my hand. Hooray. Yeah, so lots of things that we can do here. We have Elf to bring back the Diviner to pitch in order to send Entis to the graveyard to pop a card. We have Full, which has the ability to ritual summon the Bethor from the deck, which then on activation would nuke the entire opponent's board. We have not 1, not 2, but 3 different negation effects via Baron, Plura, and the Purification. Not only that, but Murakumo also is an Omni-Negate by technicality, because if the opponent elects to not discard a card, they do get negated. On top of that, we have the board wipe of the Murakumo. We have Emergence as well, which brings back a guy, which can bring back specifically, where is he? Fullock, which then has the ability to kind of boost our field by going for something like a Phaleg, or we can, you know, bring back Haggith for follow-up. We can bring back Ophiel for other follow-up. There's like a million other things that we could do off of that guy. So yeah, pretty solid. My opponent realizes the writing on the wall and disconnects. Alrighty, now here we are going second, and my opponent is also on 60. Just kidding, it's 55. But my opponent is actually playing Kashtira, so this is going to showcase what my deck can do going second or on the draw. Now, this hand is actually not all that great due to the fact that we drew basically 3 cards that we want to search mostly, in Purification, Emergence, and the Futsu. But we did draw 2 of our best starters in Unformed and Habakiri, so I can't be too upset. That being said, my opponent is also playing Kashtira, so I'm very angry. I hate Kashtira. No one likes Kashtira. No one likes playing against Kashtira. What did they banish? That's right, nothing important. To be fair, if they banished the mirror there, that would have been really bad. Anyway, out comes the Arise Heart, and they're going to pass the turn. Sure. Anyway, out comes the Shangri-Ira. They are going to special summon out the Ogre, and out comes Habakiri. Habakiri is going to tribute off the Saji, and they're going to trigger a whole myriad of effects. Luckily, they don't actually see anything. The biggest thing that they see there is the Ritual, and they end up banishing it. That's fine. They do also banish Typhon. Typhon's not going to do anything for us. They attach Saji. I don't know why. I don't know why you would ever attach Saji there. I don't know what the heck is going through my opponent's brain, but Kashtira players have brainworms, so I'm not exactly expecting intelligence from them, but alas, it's fine. Anyway, from here, we're going to activate the Ritual and tribute off our Habakiri to go for the Murakumo. We're going to activate the Murakumo. They're going to resolve, they're going to attempt to resolve the Arise Heart. I'm going to be like, no. However, I know that this isn't going to actually negate, so what I elect to do is actually go for the Tribute, because guess what? Well, you'll see in a second. So we're going to go summon out the Ophiel, because this guy is a level 8, and this Ophiel is twice, or half, I should say, the level. So, yeah, we get to go for the Ophiel here. We do get to search out our card off of the Habakiri, and yes, Murakumo also does trigger, and yes, Murakumo also does come back. So, out comes the Mirror, and here comes Murakumo. We're going to go for the portal here that we just happened to draw, and now we can go for the Haggith off of the Ophiel, and Ophiel is going to be added back to the hand off of the field spell. Here we're going to add the Anastasis off of the Haggith, and then we are going to Ritual Summon another one off of the Ophiel. What I should have done is activated the Anastasis first, so that I had them on field for the draw to discard one. Or at the very least, I could have attributed my opponent's monster. So there's that. That being said, I'm not really too concerned about the Shangri-Ira. However, at this point, I do go for the Plura in order to protect my ritual monsters. We're going to add Bethor and Full. Bethor is just a name here that we can use for the ritual summon effect. Realistically, this should have been either Eritron or Phaleg, but alas, it doesn't matter too much. We're going to go for the Futsu here in order to tribute it off with prayers so that we can bring back the other Murakumo, or the Murakumo, I should say. Futsu effect is chain blocked by the mirrors, which then searches out another prayers and comes back onto the field. Here we can go for the Aslan, activate its effect, revealing the Murakumo to add the Eritron, and from here we can use Eritron to ritual summon out our Full, tributing off the Hapakiri. Now we can actually activate a whole bunch of effects here. And as Chainlink 3, we are going to activate the Full so that they cannot respond. Shuffle away the... Oh, sorry. Aslan effect activated, which targeted a face-up card and returned it to the hand, so that's why the guy went away. And we drew 2, discarded 1. Out comes the Full Lock from the deck off of the Full Lock, or off of the Full. Full Lock effect is going to then activate to ritual summon out the Ophiel, which is then going to trigger again, and at this point, the writing is on the wall. What I can do here as well is what I was setting up is Phaleg. Phaleg becomes really big, boosts the entire field, and you attack for well over lethal. It's very, very powerful, and that's why we're playing the one of it. So, there you go. Good game. Alrighty, so here we are once again going second, and once again we draw a very strong hand. To be fair, almost every single one of our hands has felt really powerful, just because it's all an engine, right? So you never feel like there's no plays. Yeah, it's just whether or not you can push through your opponent's board, which honestly you can most of the time, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we're playing against Dragon Maid. It's not like the strongest of decks, but at the very least it's interesting. Or at least it should be interesting. I kind of messed this up a little. This deck is very complicated. That being said, it's really fun. There's so many different things that you get to do with it, and it really does just, like, whoever the better player is, it tends to reward, which is pretty cool. Not always, but it feels that way. Anyway, they're gonna go for their full line, so out comes the Shu here. Shu? This one. They're also going to set a card. G, I wonder what that is. It's probably the trap card. We draw Ritual, which is a phenomenal draw, by the way. They're going to add the Hospitality off of the Chamber, and then they're going to go for the Lady Dragon Maid in order to go to Philia Regis. Oh, how interesting. I'm going to go for the Triple Attack here to grab Triple Attack's talents, and we're going to go for the Preparation of Rites in order to grab Angry Burger. Angry Burger here is going to reveal itself in order to grab the Nouvelles, and we're going to normal summon that to kind of bait out the negate. I'm pretty certain they're going to negate this, right? I just spent like 4 cards searching out this card. But alas, it was mostly just to activate the triple attack, look at the hand and be like, oh, they have nothing. Okay. I just take the Hospitality. I don't really think there's like a good take. The bad take is Laundry, but you know, either of these probably would have worked. It was more so to see what we were playing against, and out comes Habakiri. From this point, like, we just do the full Mitsu line. We're going to go for the Habakiri here off of Ritual, and out comes the Futsu. They're going to activate their effect. I'm going to go for the Prayers here and search out the Kusanagi. The Kusanagi actually comes in quite handy here due to the fact that we can actually use its effect in order to grab up our... or we can actually tribute it here in order to summon out the Futsu that we sent to the graveyard via the Ritual effect. So, pretty nice. We're going to go for the Kusanagi. They bounce Habakiri, which is... it's not, like, terrible. Also, I misclick. Instead of clicking Ritual, I actually accidentally clicked Prayers. So, that's just straight up a misclick. Anyway, here we go. Here's Haggith. By the way, here's Haggith. We're going to grab the Anastasis here. We're going to activate the effect of the Anastasis. We're going to pitch that Prayers that we accidentally grabbed to grab up the Ophiel as well as the Plura. We're going to reveal the Plura. We're going to go, hey, no. And now out comes the Ophiel. We're going to activate the Anastasis and then the Ophiel in chain. I did it right this time. Congratulations. We're going to go for the Ophiel as well, and then go for the full. Activate the effect of the full. Go for the... or add back the Bethor that we tributed for our... or that we searched off of... Ophiel. Out comes the full lock to grab back the Bethor. He's been in the grave twice now. That's funny. Out comes Haggith. Haggith effect is going to activate... to grab up that unformed effect to ritual summon another Haggith so that we can grab up our... That should be Emergence. Yeah, this is just a miss... or not a misclick, but just wrong. This should be Emergence here. I grabbed Portal because I'm kind of greedy. And I'm like, I'll make it work. So we go for the Aslan here. Aslan is going to reveal the Plura, and we are going to grab to our hand the Miracle Raven. I'm like, cool. I'm going to go for the Miracle Raven, and then I realize, wait a second. I shouldn't do this yet, because this card specifically says Special Summon, not Ritual Summon a Megalith monster. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just bring back the full here. So full activate, we're going to add back the full lock. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's just kind of like a guy. Anyway, out comes the Miracle Raven, and then I said to him pass. Yeah, I really kind of messed up this combo. I think there was a way to kind of establish a more concrete board, maybe, you know, going for this or that or the other thing. But to be fair, my opponent did use their interactions, and it did matter, right? Like, I was slowed down enough to where I couldn't really do anything. But the thing is, this may look weak. It's incredibly powerful, due to the fact that we have access to all of our Mitsu stuff off of the Prayer and Purification. But on top of that, we also have full with the Anastasis, with Sprite Elf to bring back full, with a bunch of other things as well. So it's not exactly like the end all be all. So I'm feeling pretty good and confident here. Anyway, we're going to go for the full here. I just see all of this and I go, I really don't want you to have to deal with it, or have to deal with this. So yeah, there's that. Notably also, Raven is pretty powerful as well. So there's that. They do negate our Anastasis, which does suck. We're not going to draw 2 and discard 1, but that's fine. We're going to grab up the Aeritron. Now, Aeritron is immediately going to be used, and I actually go for the Prayers here because we can tribute off the monster that we summon, and it'll just bring itself back. I don't have Murakumo in rotation because I messed that up. Anyway, Mirror is going to be put back, and then I'm going to draw it as well, and we're going to go for our Futsu here. From this position, my opponent goes for the Laundry, and as they summon it, I go for the Kusanagi. I'm going to activate the Kusanagi to add back Prayers, and my opponent is then going to go into their Lady. I go, no Lady. That's not allowed. I negate it. They're going to go for it. Their, what is it? Whatever this is. They go for House, not House. Changeover. I negate, and I say no. I'm also extremely low on time here. Again, as I said, I messed up the combo, and because of that, I ended up costing myself a whole bunch of time. So I'm on like 6 seconds at this point. So I'm just like, no, don't do that. I know you don't really have anything. I think they actually do have... No. They drew, I believe, changeover for turn. So I pretty much knew that they didn't have anything. And at that point, the game is over. But, whew, crazy. All right, we're back with the deck. And honestly, this deck is really fun to play, as I previously mentioned. Yeah, it's just really strong. It's very interesting as well. There's lots of different lines that you can go through, but none of the decks actually lock you into anything in particular. So you do have the ability to kind of just pivot into anything, which is really cool. At the very least, it is like fun, right? Yeah, I don't really have anything to say. I just love ritual summoning, and this was a great way to ritual summon. There's lots of different ways to do it, lots of different engines that have now come out that really help facilitate more ritual summoning and searching out more ritual cards, right? I mean, look at how many cards we have that are just generic searchers, right? Miracle Raven, pre-prep, preparation, even Herald being sent to the graveyard, right? The Nouvelles is technically a level 1 ritual monster searcher. So there's like a bunch of like weird things like that that just end up working synergistically to facilitate a large array of ritual stuff, which is really cool. I like it. I like ritual summoning. It's fun. It's one of the greatest mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I appreciate that this deck exists and has the ability to work as well as it does. Was this deck insane? No. To be fair, it still like dies to FTKs and stuff like that. And it's not like it breaks boards endlessly, right? It's not like we're playing a whole bunch of board breakers. It's all mostly just engine. So if they have the ability to stop like your Bethor, you're probably cooked, right? But it is just very fun at the very least. Also, it dies to Droll. Just hard, unequivocally dies to Droll. You can't do anything. You just cry. You just like pray you drew your Mitsu half. So that at the very least you could put up Murakumo. That's pretty much it. All in all, though, very fun deck, and you check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did enjoy. If you did, a like is very much appreciated, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.